Guys, you just finished the Liftoff Advanced Choice Workshop. How do you feel? Happy, fuck off. What a great start. So guys, we say that we do these super heavy duty workshops and they get more powerful and more powerful every year. How did this workshop compare to previous advances and to previous workshops you've done?
For me, I've been a part of all the advances, and this one, like, I'm having trouble even finding words to express what happened in this one. Like, you think like the work is gonna slow down. Like, it's just getting started. Like, Mikas has come up with new material that it blew us all away. And as Benji said, like, finding all the ways that you sabotage yourself in your life. And for me, it's just like, it's everywhere. And it was an amazing opportunity to see these things and be able to work on them. And relationship stuff, world views, like dealing with morality and good and evil, and really getting a sense of what that really means, because I had no idea. And this workshop was a roller coaster, but it was also a rocket, and we went to the fucking moon.
Yes.
So I first did a workshop over 8 years ago, and the work has become more and more part of my life. And this workshop gave me tools to see how I stop myself. That even though I've changed so much already, that even though I'm doing so much better, that I see where I was blind. I was blind and I was shocked. I was shocked to see what was happening and how amazing these new tools are, that if I use them, and I will, can change my life dramatically. To the point.
So, how do you guys feel about this new material about good and evil?
Fucking revolutionary.
It's so fundamental. It just permeates every single aspect of our lives and every choice we make. As someone mentioned, choices and consequences were a really big theme of this workshop. And we practiced those in a very practical and pragmatic way. We had an opportunity to really engrave a lot of these new tools and take responsibility for applying them in our lives. There was no bullshit, like there was no messing around here. This was, okay, this is your life, what do you choose, let's go.
Yes.
I feel like this new material, it feels like another side of my brain has just like opened that I didn't have before. And it feels like this good and evil and all of the new things that were presented in this workshop kind of wraps around and like illuminates all of the work that I've learned here before, and shows kind of what is actually going on and like what is at play. So it's just been like a revelation and definitely a game changer. Like, I feel like this changes everything.
Yeah.
And I also feel like a whole new dimension of this work has begun. And it's super exciting, and some of us were saying like it kind of feels like when you first come to a workshop and all of your realities are like, whoa, you know, and you're first introduced to like these new huge concepts. That's the first time since my first workshop that I've felt this way. Mm-hmm. Like some big stuff is happening with this new work.
Yeah. Yes. For me, it's made everything like so clear. Like, I always felt like I struggled with good and evil in my life, but I never quite knew it. And learning this concept literally like changed my whole like it just changed everything, and it like aligned everything for me, and like the pillars aligned for me and everything aligned for me. And it's like the strongest tool I've ever felt in my whole life, and it like changed my whole life. So yeah, it's been like amazing.
Yeah, for me the same. Like I've came 4 years ago for the first time, and then I've come every year. And every year I think probably say the same. It's a new universe opened, but like it is like every time you come back, it's like I'm still so blind. And then you work 1 year and you come back, and then probably next year we find out there is more. And I already told there is more. So this is just the beginning, but it's like a parallel universe just opened. And yeah, like there is a lot of work to do to engrave what we've learned, but I'm very excited to go to the bottom and to discover everything, because in every workshop we get tools, but if you don't use them you get nowhere. So it's like it was a lot, but so it's going to be a full year.
It was super cool to be the first group to learn about and experience this new material. Like that was a ride, and it's obviously only going to get more and more refined and better. And I think anyone who's ever been to a workshop is going to want to get a piece of this. Yeah.
And we just scratched the surface too. Like there's just there's so much more. Like I'm so excited to go out and just like live my life now, and then also just like implementing all that we learned. Like I'm blown away, and like I'm so excited to just like keep like getting more of this information, because it's so impactful and so empowering. It's just like I feel like it changed all of our lives. We're like on a whole new trajectory, It's amazing.
I want to say one more thing about actually Aoife really inspired this, but talking about like very pragmatic things, like very like structured ways we can analyze every single choice we make and every single voice that's rolling through our head going through. Like I know it's driven every single human being mad, the different voices of like, should I do this, should I do this, should I do this, should I do this, and then wondering like, is this the best thing for my happiness? And then like getting stuck on a lot of places. Like this one really just dove into exactly the source of every single thought and being like, okay, now I have a method to analyze this and look at this and see which one will benefit me, and like right to the bottom.
Yeah, oftentimes in workshops you'll see some concept or something explode like a certain portion of the group, but this stuff was so fundamental that all of us were just immediately and it was extraordinary to witness that and to understand that what's going on in us is the same thing that's going on in every single human being, and that's I think really going to help us all understand everyone we meet a hell of a lot better.
And just to add to what Aoife was saying, something really cool that happens in these advanced workshops is there's many of us who come year after year, a very good reason we come year after year, but there's many people who come for their first advance. Every year there's a group of people that come for their first advance, and there's such an incredible experience of evolution together, and there's no difference. It doesn't matter, it's just intention. It's just wanting to receive this information and really take it in. And the just experience of all of us uniting within 24 hours of being together was spectacular. And I've heard people voice this before where they were like nervous to come to an advance, or they felt some people had been coming a long time and how would they feel in their first advance. And like, you can speak to some of these people, it's their first advance. It does not matter. It's just put your heart into it, put your love for yourself first, put your happiness first, and go for it. Like the energy, the vibration of this group raises together, and you can obviously choose to ride the wave or, hide from it, but it's so worth it. And personally for me, this experience, this new material from Miki's, like, it's the evolution of this path, it's the evolution of this work, and I found a deeper trust in myself, truly, in being able to navigate in the crazy world that's like happening around us. So there was this anchor that I felt that we really received in this workshop, and I'm blown away.
We were all having so much fun. I've never seen this in a workshop. Everyone was like 40 minutes, 30 minutes, at least 15 minutes early to the spaceport. Like, waiting for the big man to come. Like, it was awesome.
And to touch back on what Benji said, feeling like the good and evil really brings a way to have like a step-by-step method to breaking down the voices in your head and really being able to dissect that and not just kind of see something as a passing thought, but really kind of grab it and say, why am I thinking that, and is it something that actually benefits me? And coming up with an actual answer for these things and not just something ambiguous like, no, it doesn't serve me, but then it's something that keeps crossing your mind.
I feel like a really important thing about the new material for me with right and wrong, good and evil, is that it's obvious being in this workshop that the material is universal. Like the ceremonies and things like that, everyone in the room feels, everyone goes deep into that. And it's just looking around the room, it was the most obvious for me that we're all the same and that we all have this going on. And for me, like a big part was kind of being a nice guy and being a goody-goody, and there's always these processes running in the background of our minds, and if it's unchecked, it kind of runs the show. And while one hand does something, you kind of look the other way and you don't really see it. But when you can actually see it is when you can do something about it. And for me, a big part of, like a big thing in my subconscious was wanting to be liked, wanting to please people, and that was kind of running my show. And I was smiling when I didn't feel like smiling. That was a big one. And when I do that, it's like my smile doesn't mean anything. And when I smile, when I actually want to smile, it's my truth. It means something.
This is my 5th workshop and my 3rd advanced, and it was the most powerful for me. This new material that we've been learning has completely changed the way that I deal with this demon inside that wants to make me anxious and afraid. And without it being gone, I feel so much more powerful and so much more capable to see like who I am and how to always be this person, without letting this like fear and anxiousness take over. And fuck, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this new material has been like, I've unwrapped this gift that, you know, has been waiting for me for 37 years, and it's just like, and it's like me presented to me in like a new way where I get to like love myself more, and it's like way more easier to love myself because I know like the choices I've been making have not been to love myself. It's always been against myself. So this is like the most precious gift I've gotten out of all the workshops that I've taken. I'm like so grateful. So happy. It's like an internal compass that you get. I feel like we're, you know, coming to these workshops, you're kind of aware of your like general patterns. But here we learned, it feels like a lot of little like lights and alarms like were going off. You see all the insidious ways like where you're not like serving yourself and not doing the best for yourself, and so it's really, yeah, I feel like now we really have tools to center and be able to make these decisions with our best interest at heart. And for me, like just being my first advance, and I had done my Choice OS 4 years ago. You hear, yes, it's an advance, it's gonna be mind-blowing, but like seriously, and I felt everyone, and I've never felt
so much love, and I really felt love, like I was supported, and yes, I didn't have to dim myself in any way, which is never the goal, but for me it was a really big deal, and I felt the support, like everyone wanting you to shine, and it was wow, like I speechless.
Florin, it was your first advanced as well. Do you have anything to say about what it's like to come as a non-advancer to your first advanced?
Yeah, it was my first one, and I was so afraid of this type of experience, because I was in the beginning. I thought that I will not be able to follow the material, but it was amazing. It was amazing, and in the moment I put myself in trust, I could follow everything. The result is amazing. It's only amazing. This is the only word. The one. For everyone in the world, they should come.
And in terms of support, like from everyone, like from Mikis, I could really like see that everything that he does is really like to serve you. So he's not gonna be goody and just like you can literally like see why he does what he does, and yeah, how like amazing, like he's all the amazing tools that he's developed and is able like to bring us, and it was the first for him as well, like bringing all this new material, and he rocked it, because we all got like so much out of it.
Something
forever
also
grateful.
Something that also happened this workshop, it was for me the first workshop that actually we all as a group became stupid. It never happened before in a workshop. Like concepts are introduced and it's like explained and explained. Okay, guys, you're not getting, and explained even more. And the more it's explained, the more we become like blind and stupid. And like we go do a round, somebody makes a mistake, and it's like, okay, the other one, I got it, and he does exactly the same. Exactly, and it's like, guys, don't you get it? And like, yeah, we get it, and we do again and again and again, and it became just like hilarious. Like, how is this possible? Because in the beginning it was like, fuck, we're fucking up, and you feel anxiety, and at the end it was like we're all just stupid. Like, the more we get stupid and stupid, and we were just cracking up, because like it was insanity. That the system how we work is just paralyzing us and become like an insect. I don't know if an insect is really stupid, but like we were like, no more human. We were just like, like, okay, I'm gonna do that, and you go there, and you're like, I'm not gonna slap, and you slap yourself. Very interesting.
What was the gift that came from this like experience that you had?
Gift. There are so many gifts. Like that you need to question everything. Like everything you think needs to be questioned, because like you find out, you think like, yeah, I got it, but if you don't go deeper, there is so many more layers, that because you're so conditioned in some ways that you think like, yeah, I got it now, and you're not doing the research to go deeper. Why am I? Because you think, yeah, I went already deep, but you're like, I realized we were just at the top. Before we were somewhere like nowhere, and now we're somewhere, but like there is so many more steps. So I feel very inspired to take the steps, because once you think you're there, like life stops. So I found out there is so much more to discover. So yeah, like this power to acknowledge that I am not there yet, and I want to get there, because like this is exciting. Because to be stupid and to stay there, this is stupid. Because if you don't know you're stupid, it's okay to be stupid. If you find out you're stupid, it's like, I don't know, if there is something more than stupid, but it's like insane, I would call it, to stay there. So it's like, there is no way back, but it's the only way, and I love it. So it's a win-win.
But it's really like real life based, because you hear the theory and you understand it, when he tells you, like yes, you know, when that happens, you're reacting this way, but when you actually experience it and you see yourself acting in this way, and you're like, that impacts you because you're living it, and you know, like, that this has to this has to change, and he's giving you the tools to change it. But experiencing it right here, right now, and feeling the stupidity of your actions, like, really, I feel engraves, you know, that you'll remember that, you know.
Yeah, it exposed a lot of the assumptions that we are basing our decisions on, which was an invaluable lesson, and a lot of the subconscious patterns that we play out. So being kind of slapped in the face with those was a very memorable lesson.
Yeah, that's one thing about advances is that, especially these workshops here at TierraMitica, that makes them so different is that you live the material in the workshop. It's not just theory. You are literally living it, you're feeling it, you're experiencing it to the deepest levels of your being, so that when you leave here, you've created reference points of what it felt like to make those choices, or what it felt like to say fuck no to those choices. I don't know if I can curse. And or like actually how it felt to feel so silly making ridiculous choices in your life. You actually live those and play them out and experience it throughout the 15 days. And that is unlike any other workshop that I've ever seen, heard of, or experienced.
So we played Choices and Consequences, and it was really cool to see. Well, it's something you always hear about, choices and consequences, like growing up, but it was really fun to experience how you can manipulate your choices and consequences, and how we have the power to do those things. It's just that we always sabotage ourselves without even realizing it.
It was super cool because it basically was like a very world-known game of Dungeons and Dragons turned into Choices and Consequences, but where we were in a realistic setting of what would happen in our life, a setting in our life, and all of us got to choose characters, and it was so spectacular, the whole process. So much fun as well, but we had no idea how much we were going to learn and how much we were going to also just feel how silly we are. And also that when these situations happen in real life, because they do, and you realize, oh shit, like that was a horrible consequence that happened, and maybe you see it later, but then you can easily drown in guilt and shame and go into this place where you're powerless, or you don't think life is fair, so you have all these excuses. And it was super cool to feel that no matter what cards you are dealt in life, no matter what cards we created or dealt to ourselves in this game, there was always a way to win. And I think something that was very cool for all of us was to be able to laugh at ourselves, laugh at our shit, and really choose to be excited about making a change, be excited about, well, I can have a different consequence if I can just tune in and really be conscious, like truly be conscious of my choices, and why do I do these things? Why do I choose this way or that way of doing something to get to an objective, when sometimes the ways that we choose is so self-destructive, we're not even aware of it. So it was very cool to play this game.
It was amazing how every single one of us just completely lost sight of the objective. And started going off on these strange, just the randomness, like actions that served like completely not what we were trying to achieve. And for me, it really, like one of the biggest lessons from the game was just to stay completely focused on the objective. And one thing that blew me away is how we can actually win the game in one move. All of us, no matter what, could do that. So that was pretty cool to see as well. And it taught me so much about real life, like how all of these things were completely applicable in my real life, and how many things I was missing or not seeing or not doing that I can do at home, like in my real life. So it was a super cool experiential game.
Yeah, and usually in like the exercises that Mikas gets, like some people will do well and some people will just crash and burn. But the game Choices and Consequences, like we all just botched it. And it really showed me how important it is, like, to have objective, like an objective, and then stick to it, because a lot of times, like, we'll get an objective in real life. We'll get an objective, and then we'll add another objective, and then we'll add another objective, and then we'll add another objective, and then we get so lost in everything that we don't get anything done, or we just choose to lose our objectives completely, which is something that I do. And also, it taught me that I'm not playing life to win. Like, and I didn't know how to, you know? So this is something that was a super valuable lesson, I think, for all of us, is like, life is to win, you know? And these games and these things that we learn are giving us the tools to go out there and win, like Bonnie said, in one move, in any situation. And it's something that I'm really interested to dive into and engrave as the months go on.
I was thinking also, like, for me, one big realization is that because in the game you have to make contact with people, like create connections, maybe like it gets you further in your quest and your objective. And I would forget that these people I would go to are just the same as me. There was like this big wall as like, we're not the same, we're different. And I would skip the step of, let's just put myself in their shoes for one moment. And how would they react to this? Like, it's so simple, but then this idea of like, I'm different makes it like a totally, completely self-sabotage, makes me take like 10,000 steps that are not useful and not get to my objective. Whereas doing this research of like, wait a second, like these voices tell me I'm not the same. No, why is it serving me? And there's way more to that. And then, it's like, yeah, super cool game.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Todd, how did you feel about the game?
I thought it was, very, very revealing, just the same as what other people have said so far. What's crazy is that your whole life is made up of making choices, and similar to what I was saying before, it's just outrageous to not fully understand all the things that comprise of how you're making choices in your life. So that game was really revealing to see what are the strategies and the ways that we can improve and be fully conscious of how we're making that choices that make up the entirety of our life. So it was a real life application, an example of real life. So,
and to add to that, like the concept of good and evil and right and wrong plays a very big role in this, because do you actually believe it's okay to be a winner? And what does that mean? And if you think about that, and what kind of things can I do and be a winner and feel good about myself? And what things do I not even allow myself to think of to just have a beautiful life? And it just opens a whole can of worms at first, and then beautiful possibilities to the beautiful life you can create for yourself and your loved ones.
Yeah, but being a winner, like, something that became really obvious to me during that game was even before the game started. When we were choosing our characters and kind of like thinking of a story behind them, and when we actually started playing the game, I realized that, what the fuck? Like, I chose to be a lousy car salesman. I could choose to like be a badass motherfucker, a mafia boss, but I chose to be a lousy car salesman. And then I was thinking, like, how does that translate into my life? Like, what choices am I making that are stacking the whole game against me and who I'm choosing to be?
But the cool thing, Guillaume, is that even with those cards, you can win.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter like which kind of hands we have, we can always win. Yes.
What made me realize was I had been feeling like really good before the game, and I actually was like, I'm gonna win this game, it's so obvious to me. And then like going into the game, I like soon started to realize that like all my patterns were coming out, like not feeling good enough, not wanting to talk about myself, like not feeling like I could do it, and then kind of like running away. And I realized that the game was so important because like I can make like an internal choice, but unless I actually do those things, like actually make symbolic action and like do the things that I'm saying I'm wanting to do, then it doesn't mean anything basically. Like you have to actually do the things in order to get it done. And that was like a big learning curve for me.
The greatest gifts and moments from the workshop to me came from the moments of greatest challenge, because you know the big promise of any material, and in particular the new material we got for this advanced, is that it will be congruent with everything, and that once you understand it, it will make sense with everything that you know and with all of the other material. And throughout the advanced, it was my first advanced, so I was trying to challenge it, trying to really pull it apart and get into it. And every time without fail, once I got there, immediately it was like, it's congruent with everything. It all makes sense. And I could, it almost like a cascade in my mind going, and it influences this in that way, and in that way, and it fits together with this. And suddenly I have this gift of a bigger understanding of everything that I knew before, and understanding of how to go forward in the future. And we've talked about the game because the game gives you a chance to try it out, and also a bevy of examples of just how these new understandings and old understandings interface with practice. And you can try them out, you can experiment with things, and you can see how you put to trial, put to test, how you can actually do them, and if you need to kind of figure them out more. So for me, the big gift was a deeper understanding of everything I knew before, and a really fantastic strategy for the path ahead.
Miriam said before about the compass. I've had a big struggle with right and wrong and good and evil as long as I can remember, and I truly feel that I can navigate much more accurately and not pick on myself so much, not just fucking smash myself over little things. I actually feel free, to be honest, Andy. Massive sense of freedom. And vindication comes to mind, the word, vindicated.
So for me, the first workshop that I did was just eye-opening, and I was able to see the world in a different way that I was used to see before. But this workshop, by the clarity that it brought, I feel like it helped me get rid of the distorting glasses also. And actually being able to have a compass, as he said, in order to analyze the situation. Is right for me, is wrong for me, it's right for, it's wrong for. So it was amazing.
Miki's always says, I don't sit up here and do all these things and to make myself look good. He's like, it's like, I do this to show you, you can do these things as well. And he says that every workshop, I think a little differently, but along those lines. And I'd always be like, yeah, but this time I actually feel like it's so tangible. I can do this, and I can go out into the world, and I can really use everything I've learned and really see it and really implement it into my life. And that was such a huge gift to me, because I feel like Nathan said, we have this compass now, and we have this way of looking at things, and it makes it so much easier to be like fuck this, and I'm gonna listen to this, and this is where I'm going. And it's to have that clear objective, and to really know and love yourself, to really feel what that means, and putting yourself first in every choice that you make, that this is our lives, and we're here to win, and we're gonna fucking do it. And that was the biggest gift that I thought from the workshop.
For me, the biggest gift is seeing that you make a choice, that you put a firm line in the ground and say this is it, all or nothing. And if you back out from that, you will suffer, and the other person, and you will regress in regret and hating each other, and You need to put a line for yourself. This is my furthest I will go. Get over to this side with me, and then we have something in any situation, with relation or with life, with partners, with business, but like be proper to yourself. Like, this is self-respect for me. This is what I want, and I don't go for less. And that feels like pure self-love, and yeah, and I've always like put a line and like, okay, maybe, and before you know, like the line is there and like you don't see the line, and then you start. So yeah, that was like huge and very hard, but with all the work of good and evil and right and wrong, it's like, it is right, it is my right to put a line and say this is what I want, and it's the right of the other one say this is not what I want. But what we do is like, oh, I want this, but you're not clear, you're not expressing what you want, and then you expect the other one to understand what you want. So by making it clear, you're actually serving both sides. So yeah, this has been big, and like I will adapt this in everything in my life, and I see already the changes that will come from it, and that feels amazing.
And really claiming your life, like claiming what you want, and claiming who you are, and like going for it. Like, talk is cheap. It's like about symbolism and just like putting yourself out there and getting outside your comfort zone. And it's like there's so many concepts that I have learned. I've been to a few workshops now, and it's like, but I feel so much more like empowered. I feel so much more like I can actually, like, I'm going to do it and I can do it, and that's like, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, for me, one of the biggest gifts is exactly what Chelsea just said, is like, talk is cheap, and what we learned in this workshop for me made everything very black and white, like a 1 or a 0. And I can't fool myself anymore. Like, I also saw in the workshop the people that are out there doing the work like super consistently, and you can see how they're just flying, and like, I can't lie to myself anymore. I can't lie to myself anymore, and that's the biggest gift, because we get these little teeny voices that creep in. It's like, oh, you don't have to do this, and you don't have to do this. Oh, that's okay if you let it slide. But now, the small things and the big things are all on the same level.
Yeah.
Like, they're all the same, and they're not good for my happiness. They're absolutely not good for my happiness. And they all have the same, like, gravity, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but they just weight. Like, it's like, fuck that. Fuck those voices. Little, small, whatever. So it's made everything very black and white and very clear.
Yeah, one of the greatest gifts I got, there's several. One is just like, the world is kind of subliminally giving you all these ideas of like how to think and feel about yourself, and like, you should choose this is good, or that's bad, and it's like, it literally makes you feel like you're going insane, like you feel paralyzed to like make any choices. And so it's like, just, I feel like the veil's been, you know, taken off my head, my face and my eyes, and I can like, I see so clearly that I can make the choices for myself. I don't have to listen to someone else telling me, or the voices in my head telling me how to feel. It's like fully my choice to just like grab it, and like, this makes me feel good and happy and alive, and yes, and I don't have to listen to all of this stuff going around in the world, just like blah, blah, blah. It feels so good. It's so good.
Yeah, we learned in this workshop what it truly means to feel triumphant.
Yes. We just spent 2 weeks in the workshop and getting bombarded. Mikas is a machine. And the thing is that it's only 20% into it.
Yeah.
I bet it's only 10% because he's amazing. Like, there's so much more, so much deeper, and so many different levels that go into good and evil and right and wrong. Like, and I can feel it, and I don't know where he's gonna go quite, you know, but like, I know when he says like, ha ha ha, I got 75% more, that I can fill 3 more workshops with this material just on this subject alone. So fuck yes, I'm excited, because the little bit that we got fucking changed all of our lives.
Yes.
Completely.
It's super exciting. It's like this, freedom of the endless possibilities that we can take with what's coming with this work. And you really feel the evolution of the work, and to understand where our common sense comes from, like natural law, and then the things that we've just adopted growing in society, growing through our parents, growing through whatever's going on around the world, and just understanding like what actually feels in alignment with us and our truth is very exciting. Like all of us are very much, we want more.
Well, in that case, what would you say to your fellow Argonauts and advancers that aren't here today to experience this new material?
First chance, get the fuck here. Like,
like now. Next workshop.
Come to the next workshop.
Get
your ass here.
Get your ass here. Get your ass here. Get your ass here. Get your ass here. Get your ass here. Get your ass here. Get your ass here. Get your ass here.